Claude Fable 5 just launched, and I didn't want another demo where it builds a to-do list from scratch. So I gave it something much harder. My actual app. A real product, with real users, real code, and real mess. I told it to revamp the entire thing, and then I mostly got out of the way. It burned through my session limits twice. The first version of the app was honestly bad, and the whole thing still ended up costing me about $70 in less than 3 hours. In this video, I'll show you the full build, the part where it fell on its face, and the one prompt that turned it around. Then I'll score it on 5 things, so you know exactly when this model is worth the money, and when it absolutely is not. If you're new here, I build, use, and evaluate AI stacks on real-world work. Not benchmarks on paper, actual jobs. And today's job is the hardest kind I know, taking an existing app and revamping it. At the end, I'll rate Fable 5 on 5 things: intelligence, automation, UI and UX, ease of setup, and cost. No hype, no affiliate links, just whether this thing earns its price tag. Here's the setup. Claude code in the terminal, running Fable 5 with effort cranked up. And here's why the job matters more than the model. Anyone can make an AI build something from scratch. A blank canvas hides every weakness. A revamp is different. It has to understand a business it didn't build, respect decisions it didn't make, and improve things without breaking them. That takes context management, not just code generation. If Fable 5 is really a step up, this is where it should show. The app is Valgist, a little business of mine. It builds interactive discovery engines for B2B companies. Instead of hitting your buyers with a static form, they self-diagnose their pain points, get mapped to your solutions, and walk away with a personalized report. That's the pitch. And this is version 1. Live today. It works. But it's grown the way every version 1 grows, feature by feature, patch by patch, and it's due for a proper overhaul, which makes it the perfect victim for this experiment. Step 1, and the step most people skip. Before asking for a single line of code, I gave it everything. Full access to the Valgist files. The code, the docs, the business context. A model can't revamp what it doesn't understand, and understanding doesn't come from a clever prompt. It comes from reading. So I let it read. Then before any building, a checkpoint. I asked it to give me feedback on Valgist, not because I wanted compliments, because the critic tells you whether it actually processed your business or just skimmed it. And the feedback was specific. It talked about my product the way someone who'd actually studied it would. That's the green light you're looking for before you let it touch anything. Next, I shared my revamp plans and had it evaluate them. This is the cheap insurance nobody buys. If its understanding is off, you want to find out here in a conversation, not 3,000 lines into a build. We went back and forth, it sized up the plan, and we agreed on the shape of version 2. A complete rebuild. Alignment first, then and only then, code. Then I said the dangerous words. Scaffold it and build it. No other assistance. And it just went. 2,700 lines of code into the new app before I'd finished my coffee. The meter went with it. Look at that session bar. Tokens were burning and we were just getting started. A while later, Docker is up. A container had configured itself, running the new app. And somewhere in there, without being asked, it built an end-to-end testing suite. I didn't request that. It just decided a real app should have one. Which, frankly, is more disciplined than most human developers ship with. And then, well, session limit hit mid-task while it was literally in the middle of writing a batch of files. There goes the session. Full disclosure on what's on screen here, because you can see it anyway. The early scaffold ran on Opus 4.8, the default. When the session reset, I switched the model to Fable 5 and pushed the effort to xhigh, the deepest reasoning it offers. So the bones were Opus. Everything you're about to see, the heavy lifting, the redesign, that's Fable 5 with the dial turned up. Keep that in mind because it matters for the verdict. First cut of the new homepage, genuinely interesting. Clean type, confident layout, a proper landing page. I was impressed. The app itself? Bad. Unstyled panels, dead dark boxes, text you can barely read. It looks like the homepage and the app were built by 2 different people, and one of them was having a very rough day. This is the part most videos cut out. I'm leaving it in, because what happened next is the actual lesson. I didn't write a list of CSS fixes, I gave it one instruction. Create a design system, based on version 1 of the app, then apply it everywhere. That's it. And this is where Fable 5 stopped looking like a code generator and started looking like a designer. It extracted what made version 1 feel like Valgist, formalized it into a system, and rebuilt the interface on top of it. It also ate the entire session doing it, 100%. Second limit of the day, $55 in. At xhigh effort, Fable 5 is hungry. There's no way to sugarcoat that. My weekly limit was resetting soon anyway, so I figured it was only right to maximize it. That's my story and I'm sticking to it. That's the build. Now look at what came out the other side. This is the new Valgist, generating a discovery engine for freight brokerage. Describe the business in a sentence, and the agent builds the whole engine. The diagnostic questions, the pain to solution mapping, the personalized gap analysis at the end. All of it on the new design system. Compare this to the dead grey boxes from 20 minutes ago. Same model, one prompt apart. The final damage, $69.98. 6,800 lines added, 900 removed, in under 3 hours of wall time. And honesty check, not every feature works perfectly. There are still rough edges I'll be cleaning up. But a few prompts, one afternoon, $70, for a revamp that would have taken me weeks. So how does it score? Intelligence, 10 out of 10. This is the Axis Fable 5 was built to win, and it wins it. It understood a business it didn't build, gave critique worth reading, designed a system instead of patching screens, and shipped an end-to-end test suite nobody asked for. The output landed beyond what I pictured when I started. I don't say that lightly, and I don't say it often. Automation, 9 out of 10. I gave it context, a plan, and a handful of prompts. It did essentially everything else. Scaffold, build, containers, tests. The only reason this isn't a 10 is the session limits. It can run without your help, but not without interruption. UI and UX, 8 out of 10. Claude Code is transparent in a way I really rate. You can see the model, the effort level, exactly what you've spent, down to the cent. But it lives in a terminal, and the moment things get heavy, you're managing sessions and limits. Powerful, honest, still developer-shaped. Ease of setup, 9 out of 10. Install Claude Code, point it at your repo, start talking. It set up Docker itself. It set up the tests itself. The setup story is barely a story, which is exactly what you want. Cost, 3 out of 10. Here's the trade, with no makeup on it. $70 and 2 blown session limits for one project in one afternoon. Against an agency quote, that's a rounding error. Against every other model on the market, it's premium on premium. And at xhigh effort, the meter genuinely sprints. You're paying flagship prices for a flagship brain. Know that going in. So who should actually pay for this? My verdict? Fable 5 is best used for entire businesses, major transformations, rebuilding your software, overhauling your processes, the projects you've been putting off because they're too big. That's where it excels. It needs surprisingly little from you, and it delivers a result beyond what you imagined. But, and I'm going to be blunt, if you're adding small features, fixing bugs, or writing social media copy, Fable 5 will do it, and it will not be worth the cost. Opus 4.8 does most of what Fable 5 does, at the same level, for half the price. And if you're not generating animations, video, or design systems programmatically, you'd honestly get away with Sonnet. Use the flagship for the transformation. Use the cheaper brains for the maintenance. That's Claude Fable 5 handed a real app and told to revamp it. Built, tested, and evaluated. If this saved you $70 of finding out yourself, do me a favor and subscribe. I build, use, and evaluate AI stacks on real work, and the next one is already burning tokens. See you there.